Hello, welcome back. Sean here. Mountains Marina. Actually, Mountains Garage. Doing a little bit of work on this beautiful day. It's Friday morning. It started about 46 degrees and now it's 66 degrees. Coming to find out, that's my range. I'm standing in the sun with a black sweatshirt and I'm comfortable. Beautiful. I had a few issues with my boat that I bought last year. So let's talk about it and many other things. You really don't notice how much noise there is outside until you go to record a video and you realize there's a lot of background noise. I just waited for an airplane to go overhead. So my issue, I bought this boat last June, drove it all summer, and the way the back of the boat is configured, you cannot see the engine from the helm, the steering wheel. So there's really no way to determine if the steering wheel is moving the motor, on a 1-to-1 ratio. Directly, I should say. I had people move the steering wheel, and I watched the motor was moving, but I didn't know how much they were actually turning. It's hard to communicate that. So when I took it out of the water, I could grab the engine and wiggle it right back and forth. I could see the seals were leaking on the steering cylinder. In theory, I could have just changed the glands right here after I disconnected these arms. We'll talk about these more in a minute. But it was all dirty, so I decided to remove the bolt right there, that pivot bolt, disconnect the lines, and take it inside and clean it. I had the bleeder screws uncovered, which is those silver things right there. And we're also going to talk about those. At the same time I'm shooting the video, I'm cooking chicken on the grill right outside the door of the shop. Hopefully I don't get carried away blabbing and burn my chicken. I got it on low, and it should be yummy. If my stomach is growling, you'll understand why. So, when I discovered, I knew driving the boat was just a lot of work. My houseboat is in the middle of the river almost. The channel with all the boats going by nonstop, both directions all day long. I see people with, mine's not a pontoon boat, it's a deck boat. When it's in the water, below the water line, you can't really tell unless you know what you're looking at. Most people call it a pontoon. It actually has a fiberglass hull, making it kind of rare. However, I didn't think it was normal to have to steer all the time just to go straight. Come to find out, it was like a turn and a half that does nothing. The motor is just flopping around with the waves, and man, I can't wait to have it stay still and be able to just drive straight. I watch people drive by. That was my point. I sit on top of the houseboat most of the day, observing the boats passing by and all that that entails. And you see people going by, they're just hanging onto the wheel and going straight in the channel. It's pretty tight. I'm soaring like I'm Rusty Wallace at Bristol. I should wear white gloves. If you know who that is and what that is, hey, good for you. So, last fall we bought a trailer to bring it home because I wanted to do more cleaning on it. And then I found out as soon as I wiggled the motor when I had it out of the water that I needed to fix the steering. And I serviced the lower unit on the outboard before I put it away for the winter. I am not a boat expert, but it's just another mechanical job. The jobs are all the same. When I rebuilt the steering cylinder last night, same thing. Just another job using tools. Same basic skill set applies. In the world we live in, you can watch a few videos. I watched them afterwards. I wanted to just dive in. I've rebuilt tons of hydraulic cylinders on, you name it, equipment, excavators, front end loaders, whatever the situation was. And the difference being with this kit, you get the entire screw-in gland, it's called, that contains the seals. So it's pretty simple. So the boat sat all winter. I'm hoping it survived. I drained the water out and did everything I should have done, covered it up, and we'll see how it survived under my care instead of being at the marina. I was disappointed when I changed the lower unit oil before winter. The reason I did that is I was afraid there was water in it. Our boat sits on the dock in its slip with the motor down. They prefer the motor down because with it up, much more chance of it getting run into by another boat. There's enough of that goes on, no sense making it worse. With the motor down, it's tucked in tight. So it sits in the water all year long, and I was afraid water could seep into the lower unit. Well, come to find out, I bought an entire genuine Yamaha service kit. It comes with new sealing washers on there's a drain and a fill hole. Well, there's a drain and a fill hole. I should say it's the full mark. It's not where you fill it. And you fill from the bottom until it squirts out the top and put the plugs in. However, instead of putting the correct sealing washers on it, it just had silicone on it, and that leaked. And there was water in my lower unit, so I'm glad I changed it before cold weather came, and I will repeat that every year. The engine oil I'm going to do now in the fuel filter and everything else that came in the kit. So the steering cylinder, that was an add-on repair. Probably the most important, kind of like the Street 55. The front end alignment was the biggest and easiest thing to fix. So yesterday I went outside and I spent about an hour and 15 minutes on the whole job. I took the cylinder off. The repair parts, I got carried away there, I forgot. I talked to a buddy of mine who does work on boats. He said, you know, bring the stuff down. I'm sure they got it right in stock. I'm thinking, I believe there's a Sea-Star brand on the steering helm. And I went under there, wiped it off. There was some kind of a little bit of grime on it where I cleaned that off. The cylinder looks brand new. Fortunately, this boat is freshwater only. And options online, once I got the part number of the steering cylinder, Sea-Star, HB, whatever it was, right on Amazon, and they have different levels of kits. You can buy just the sealing glands, and they give you the O-rings for the bleeder screws that I pointed out. I, of course, opted for the whole kit. It gives you the correct spanner wrench, so I don't have to make something. And it does give you an option almost for a 3/8 extension and a ratchet situation, because I had to put a piece of pipe on this, and I was afraid I was going to break the little pins off, but it went pretty well. So I tried to do it on the boat without removing the cylinder, and it didn't. The way my boat is built, if you had a traditional boat where the motor's right out in the open, you could probably break it loose with this and a piece of pipe. If you buy just the tool, now hindsight being 20/20 or better, they sell just a tool that accepts the square drive, and you can use a big ratchet. That's probably the tool to buy. But this did do the job, and it came with the kit. And they also give you those arms that I showed you that connect the hydraulic cylinder to the outboard. Those aluminum arms on a saltwater boat get stuck on there, so they give you a puller that they've designed. It isn't supposed to hurt the threads on the end of the big cross bolt, and this would pull off the stubborn aluminum on stainless arms, but mine fell right off. Everything came apart like it's been in fresh water its whole life. My boat has had 91 hours, 91 hours when I bought it last year, 90 something. It has 135 or 40 on it now. So we used it more last summer than it's ever been used. It was bought, it was in one of those jacks that pull it up out of the water with a cover on it on a different part of the lake, and then for how many years the people that own the houseboat own this boat, and that's how we ended up with it. We ended up buying 2 boats. I've told the story before. So they give you the complete gland with the seals. They give you a seal protector. This goes over the shaft itself. A little bit of lube, no different than working on an automatic transmission or anything else, so you don't hurt the inner seal. You push these in, screw them in. Again, easily doable in the boat. I had a couple of little buckets underneath to protect the fiberglass hull from getting all oily. And again, I pulled the cylinder right off, rebuilt it here on the bench, put it right back on. Piece of cake. Now I need to bleed it out. I haven't done that yet. I bought well, it's not a kit, but let me show you. I bought this little plastic hose. This screws onto the helm. There's a port right on top of it. The helm is nothing but a hydraulic pump. And when you turn the steering wheel, you're making it pump. And the two lines run down to the outboard motor of the cylinder. And with no air in it, it should be direct acting. So that's what we're hoping for, but you need to get the air out of it. So first, this is designed to screw a quart bottle onto, but me being thrifty, it claims if it was empty, it would take 3 quarts. Quarts are expensive. I bought the genuine Sea Star oil, which is nothing but hydraulic oil. But whatever, I bought the correct oil. That could be a whole video by itself, whether you need it or not. But anyway, I did buy it. But it's cheaper by the gallon, but now I'm gonna have to clean out a quart bottle, put some from the gallon into the quart bottle because you need to hold it upside down over the helm with this little hose. And then I didn't buy, I'm gonna improvise, you need to open the bleeders, the 2 bleeder screws on the hydraulic cylinder and connect them. They sell a clear hose so you can watch the bubbles go back and forth, but I'm just gonna maybe I'll go to the hardware store and get some clear hose, but I can't see it when I turn the steering wheel anyway. And I'm gonna be doing it by myself probably, so. Long story short, you hold the fluid upside down up over the helm so it runs in the tube, and you just carefully turn the steering wheel back and forth, back and forth. And as you go side to side, the air bubbles are allowed just to go to the other side and hopefully return back to the helm. That's the plan. So, I haven't done that portion yet because I'm cooking chicken. Well, I got distracted by my chicken. Where were we? And the mail came, so now I have some more parts. I'm gonna walk up to the other garage where the Street 55 resides. And I found this, it's allegedly a fuel filter. I haven't had it apart, but it has a shut-off valve on it. So that and a swivel fitting, double swivel fitting. I'm going to put it on the vent line I put on the fuel tank in the trunk. And I open the trunk anyway before I drive it, turn the power on. I'm gonna add this nice switch for that. Another cheap Amazon purchase. But it'll prevent me from having to remove the terminal every time. Eventually I'll put a shut off somewhere. But today it's all about repairs I can walk up and do with almost no tools. So this is gonna go in line on my vent line. And probably when I turn the nice switch on, I'll just open the vent and drive it that way. And when I park it in the garage, I don't trust wiring on old vehicles. I don't even trust wiring on new vehicles. But I don't disconnect my wife's battery. She wouldn't like that very much. And when I park it, I'll just hopefully close the valve and stop the venting that will drive you out of the garage in 15 minutes. So that's my plan. I guess if I was fancy, I could have a cable on that external, but that is not required. So it's Friday before Memorial Day weekend, and I got the tip last night to check out I'm not affiliated with Holley at all. In fact, sometimes I'm very critical about their, some of their products lately, but they're having a Memorial Day weekend clearance sale, and go ahead and get mad at me because you're about to spend a lot of money if you're into this stuff. And they have a lot of random stuff. They have more lines. They own a lot of different companies. I didn't know there was such a thing as Holley classic truck parts, but my 49 Chevy, sorry about that, 49 Chevy cab, the doors have been missing since I got it. I found a set in the junkyard that has the internals, but they're kind of rough. And the non-vent window 47 to 50, I believe that is the vintage of the truck. In 51, they put a vent window in, and I think there's some other things different. I know the window regulators are different. I learned that today. Long story short, I bought a non-vent window right-hand door, passenger door, complete shell for $74. Plus I had to pay truck freight, but hey, that's okay. These doors are normally $600 plus truck shipment. I bought window regulators on the Holley clearance site, for $17 a piece. Those are Brothers Truck Parts. They must own those as well. I bought MSD plug wires, full sets that are all made, 17 bucks a piece. I bought some stainless exhaust pipe, turbo weld-up kits. Ridiculous. I spent more money than I had planned on, that's for sure. However, when you're paying pennies on the dollar, how can you not? So check it out. Better schedule some time because there's thousands and thousands of parts. Thousands. On sale. Drastic sales. I wouldn't get excited if things weren't so ridiculously cheap. So check it out. Spend some money. Get mad at me because you did. And that's Alexa telling me I have more parts in the mailbox. Have a wonderful weekend. I got more work to do. I'm going to strip this transmission behind me. If I'm blocking it, hey, whatever. In search of the guys hoping it's a TH475. I don't think it is, but we're going to find out. Have a good one.